So Mario Party Superstars has launched and everyone and their grandparents have been playing it and I'm sure have been having a good time. Or at least I hope everyone has been playing with their family or at least some friends, because playing a party game alone is one of the saddest things I can think of. But it's been out for about a month, give or take, depending on when I decide to get off my lazy butt and actually make this video. And while I am pleasantly surprised that this game ended up turning out better than I was somewhat expecting, I do still think that even though this game is pretty good, perhaps even great, it's not amazing. The reason for that being mainly one thing: the economy, or rather the coins and how it affects the game. And it's pretty plain to see where this came from because I think NDQ's previous installment in the series, Super Mario Party, had the same issue. But before I get into that, a little bit of background with myself in the series to show you I'm not just some random guy about to give his opinion on a party game on the internet. I am just some random guy with authority about to give his opinion on a party game on the internet. I've been playing Mario Party for most of my life. I've been with the series since the very first game launched on the N64. It was great getting some family or friends to sit down and play together to try out and learn all the different kinds of minigames. You had minigames like pushing one of the buttons multiple times over and over and pressing it way too hard because you thought it would register harder or something. Teaming up with someone for a 2v2 game and either giving each other a big old hug over a game well won, or threatening to throw them through the window because it was clearly their fault you lost and not your crappy teamwork, or destroying your own palm trying to win Tug of War, which I can't believe they brought back in Superstars. But I mean, hey, at least they put in a warning right before you play the game this time. Nintendo sure did want to see more bloody hands while also making sure they didn't get sued a second time. But for the past decade or so, Mario Party has seen some changes, and not everyone likes these changes. I consider myself to be a part of these everyones. I have played through nearly all mainline Mario Party games on each console since the N64, with the only ones that I have skipped currently being 8 and 10. When 8 ended up launching, I decided to not bother getting this one since I was feeling kinda burnt out with the series for playing a new one nearly every year, and I never really got a chance to get a hold of a copy to sit down and try it. But I did end up getting Mario Party 9, and seeing how it had been 5 years since 8 had hit the public, at that point I was definitely hungry for another Mario Party game. But when I saw what it was, I was obviously a bit confused, and I'm willing to bet I wasn't the only one. Now I'm going to be completely honest here, and please don't crucify me for this, but I didn't really hate the cart thing as much as everyone else seems to. I still thought the game was overall a decently fun time. I thought the minigames were solid, and I enjoyed the whole boss battle thing they tried out as well. But I did still absolutely want them to return to the series' roots and let everyone move independently. So despite me saying I didn't completely hate the whole cart thing, I definitely did not want this to become the new norm. That was one of the two major reasons why I didn't even bother with its sequel, Mario Party 10. The other reason being that it didn't have online. At all. And at this point in my life, I was a full-grown adult who was out on his own, ready to take on the world. And the same could be said for everyone else that I knew. So getting anyone together to sit down and play some good old Mario Party was something that was going to be a lot harder since everyone was out living their own lives. You know, back in the day when you were able to do that sort of thing. And when I saw that they were going to be keeping the whole cart gimmick and not have any online, I knew this game wasn't going to be worth it. But I did make sure I went out and bought that sweet shiny golden Mario amiibo. So when the time came for them to announce the next mainline installment of this beloved series I had grown up with since I was 6, I was hopeful that this would be a return to form. Then they announced it, Super Mario Party. They showed it off a bit, and I have to say, I was not exactly liking what I was seeing. For starters, the game was going to have online, but not full online. The only online they had at the time was a mode called Online Mariothon, where you could play against other online players in 5 random minigames that get selected for you. This sounded incredibly dumb to me, and just showed to me that I guess Nintendo aren't the only ones out there who didn't know how important online is in this current day and age. But the game did eventually get full-fledged online. 2.5 years after its launch. Better late than never though, I guess. The other thing that seemed kinda weird was how everything looked like it was just being cut in half. The board sizes were getting cut down significantly, the number of coins required to get the star was only 10 instead of the usual 20, and the cost of items was getting cut down to almost nothing. Funnily enough, the only thing that ended up not being cut down was the number of coins you ended up getting throughout the game. And this is what brings me to the main reason that made me want to make this video. I have tried at least least 4 different times to sit down and give Super a shot, which I realized might not be a whole lot overall, but every time I did, I only got reminded that I just did not like the game very much. I can sort of forgive the game not having full online because even though everyone did want it to be included, given Nintendo's rather not so great reputation for their online games, I feel like people knew that it could have ended up being a total dumpster fire. I mostly cared about the game going back to individual movements, so when I did happen to play with friends or family, it would be like the games I knew and loved growing up. And while they may have brought it back to us, I don't believe it was in a very good way. With all the boards being as small as they are, it makes it much easier getting to where you want or need to be. And while you might think getting to the star or item shop faster would maybe make holding onto your coins a bit tricky since you need to spend coins in order to get them, you would be very wrong, my friend. Since the game pretty much just throws coins at you all the time, you pretty much never have to worry about not having enough to get whatever it is you're after. And this is where my main problem with the past 2 Mario Party comes in, and what I believe is keeping Superstars from being better than it already is: the economy. You see, back in the older Mario parties, there were 2 things that made you a threat: the stars and the coins. The stars are obviously the most important thing in each Mario Party game, as whoever has the most stars by the end is the one who's going to win. But if there is one thing I have learned about Mario Party over the years, it's that the game isn't over until it's over. Even if it's the last turn and you're in last place, that doesn't mean you can't suddenly have a sick nasty comeback. While the stars might be the main objective, you first need enough coins in order to get them. They have always been the way you get ahead in each Mario Party. So even though you don't have the most stars, or hell, even if you're in last place, if you have a large number of coins saved up, then you could still be considered a threat. You could buy more powerful items that would unlock themselves at item shops as the game went on, or even use it perhaps to steal a star from someone else in the game, which would then prompt a fistfight in the living room and some hurtful words being thrown around. But hey, you knew what you were signing up for the moment you agreed to play the game. And while getting a large amount of coins and being able to hold on to them was something that was a bit of a challenge, it was the best way of keeping yourself in the game if you found that your luck hasn't been as great as the other players. In my experience, depending on how far in the lead you were, you probably didn't have many coins, and vice versa. If you had coins, then you probably have been hoarding them because you haven't had the chance to spend them on many stars, or you didn't want to spend them on smaller items like the mushroom and wanted to save up for the big ones like the genie lamp. But in modern Mario Party, you get coins so much easier than you did in the past, to the point that you just don't need to worry about not having enough. It's no longer that the player who came in first in the latest minigames is the only one who gets coins, it's also the second and third player that gets some as well, with the 4th place player being the only one that has to wallow in his failure. And not only that, but the amount of coins the items cost has been brought down to almost nothing, with just about every item costing between 2 to 12 coins. The only item that costs a decent amount is the golden pipe, which goes for 25, and it definitely should be the highest costing item seeing how it takes you right to the star. I honestly think it should cost a bit more, but I guess it's fine where it is. With all the items being so cheap, this means that by the time the game is at the 7th or 8th round, everyone will most likely already have over 40 plus coins and could even have a star or 2, and I think this ends up taking a lot of edge out of the game. In previous Mario Party games, depending on what you had, you would have to think about how you wanted to progress in order to win. Did you have the most stars? Then you better find a way to hang on to them. Were you in last place but had a buttload of coins? Well, you pretty much had free reign on what you wanted to do and could maybe even make the player in first sweat because you had the coins to do whatever you wanted. Coins are the backbone of the Mario Party series. Just about everything you can or are able to do revolves around the coins and how you get them as well as how you use them. The way I see it, there are 3 main things in Superstars that makes it too easy to acquire or hang on to coins: the drop in item prices, the second and third place players getting coins instead of just the first place player, and the lucky spaces. I've already talked about the first point being the drop in item prices and how that allows for everyone to keep more of the coins. The whole thing about how the second and third place finishers of a minigame getting some coins too kinda comes off as if they just wanted to make the game a little less punishing if only one player is winning most of them, which I can understand, but it also kinda comes off as if they were trying to lower the skill gap in a way or something. I know that might make me sound sort of esportsy, but that's just how I felt about it. I don't know, I'm not really sure, but I liked it when it was only the first player who got the coins. It only made me want to try harder in the next minigame if I lost the latest one. And if it does have something to do with the skill gap, then I think making only one person miss out on some of the coins could be even more punishing to that one person. At least before, when the 3 other players lost, they could feel like losers together. The last point I mentioned before is the lucky spaces. Honestly, even though I may have a bit of a problem with how they function in this game, I really enjoy the concept of them. The way I see it, it's just another RNG type thing that can give you something nice that can really help you out, especially if you happen to be a little bit down on your luck in your current game. But with the games I've played, just about every turn had someone landing on a lucky space. The whole lucky thing kinda starts to lose its meaning after seeing it happen to everyone in the game for the 6th time before you even get to the 10th round. Like I said, I liked lucky spaces, but when I landed on one, I never really felt all that lucky. Instead, it felt like it was only a matter of time when I would land on one rather than a matter of if I was going to be able to or not. I also haven't even mentioned the fact that at some point randomly throughout the game, there's a chance that the next minigame will give out twice as many coins. And if you happen to get one of those coin collecting minigames, depending on how well each player did, someone could be walking away with close to 50 coins afterwards. That is completely insane to make that much money in one go. Back in my day, the only way to get that many coins in one turn was to win a chance time against someone who was trying to roleplay as Scrooge McDuck. The weird thing about all of this is that having that many coins in of itself isn't really what I think is bad. It's not having anything to spend them on is what really stinks. One of the biggest problems I had with Super Mario Party was that everyone had so many coins by the 10th turn, but nothing to really spend them on. It really kinda takes a lot of the excitement out of the game when everyone is rich. If NDCube had put things into the game that whoever was hoarding a lot of coins could spend on, I think that would be great. But the only thing they added that resembles something like that is King Boo and the Horrorland board. If they would have implemented more things like that in the other boards and also in Super Mario Party, then giving out all these extra coins wouldn't be such a bad thing. This is the reason I think that Peach's birthday cake is probably my favorite board to play on. You have 10 spots you can land on and buy your own Piranha Plant, which depending on how much you spend on it can either take some coins or a star away from another player. There's also the fact that there's a Goomba right after the star that you have to give 10 coins to and choose a seed to plant. And if your seed turns out to be the Bowser flower, then you're forced to go into his area, which means walking over 3 red spaces, which can make you lose more coins, and then you have to talk to Bowser and lose even more coins. And to top it all off, right before you leave, there's one last Bowser space just waiting for you to land on it. So that general area is really something everyone just wants to avoid. But the whole board is a great way to keep the coins of the players from getting a little too out of control, and if they would have made every board more like that, then I don't think I would have ever have had the thought of making this video. All in all, Superstars is still a great game, and I'm glad that it exists. I feel like everyone was being cautiously optimistic about the title due to how the series has been for the past 10 plus years, and admittedly, I was also kind of feeling that way. I honestly wasn't sure if they were just going to remake the old games but for the current console, or if they were going to try and make some changes to it that would give it a twist that no one really asked for. But I decided to give it a go for myself, and I've been having a pretty gosh darn good time with it. It's honestly better than I thought it would be, and it feels great to be able to play an older style Mario Party game with fully functioning online. And it even comes with some really good features too. You're able to save it when you want, you can add turns at your leisure, and if someone ends up disconnecting, then the CPU just takes over for them with that player being able to join back whenever they have the chance. This game is great, and I think they got just about everything right, but I just can't help but feel like it could have been fantastic if not for the whole corn thing. But hey, that's just my opinion. What do you think? Am I being too harsh? Do you think I'm right on the money? Or do you hate me for wasting your time with this video? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed what you saw, and subscribe for more in the future. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.